I'm Chris Farrell from the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, a wacky weekend morning show, part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out right now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and the opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows over at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Now, you want to tell me what the hell this thing is? It's not surveillance, Paul. It's not electronic thermal imaging. You guys have figured out a way to look into the past, yes or no?
No.
You're lying. You're lying, and you know it.
Everything I can.
She saw it, Paul. I pointed this thing at her just now, and she responded to it from 4.5 days ago. Explain that to me. Somebody explain it.
Hit it, Shannon.
For 3 years, Cambridge has been working for National Reconnaissance on an R&D grant.
Okay.
We were attempting to use concentrated bursts of energy to enhance the sensitivity of optical telescopes. In the process, we had a breakthrough. Given enough energy, we could warp the very fabric of space.
I said explain it to me, not talk science. Look,
all
right, I'll tell you what.
fold.
Why don't you guys just keep talking? I'll just sit here until you figure out what it is you really want to tell me.
They found a way to fold space back onto itself.
All right, look. We're used to viewing space as flat, right? Like this piece of paper. To see something from a distance, light has always had to travel the long way across the flat space in between. But given what I was trying to explain, we could fold the space, bring the target closer to us, create what's known as an Einstein-Rosen bridge, otherwise known as a wormhole, suspend it via gravitational field.
That's what we're looking at.
That's it.
What's on the other end of the bridge?
Claire's house.
Basically, we're folding space in a higher dimension to create an instantaneous link between two distant points.
Instantaneous.
Well, that's what we hoped for. That's what we expected. But the electrical force, we used huge amounts of energy to create this bridge.
All right, how huge?
You remember that little blackout we had a few years back?
Yes,
New York
I
blamed
do.
Canada, and
Right,
Canada
right.
blamed Michigan.
Half the Northeast. You're saying you guys?
50 million homes.
Right.
My bad. Well, I still say we blame Canada, but
Okay, so why can't I see this bridge?
it's not visible for the human eye. I mean, it's real, though. It's just as real and just as solid as a cell phone signal or a radio wave.
Right, well, I don't know how a cell phone works. I just know how to use it. So how do we use this?
We can look back 4.5 days.
And what? We can look anywhere?
Limited radius.
Right. Looking into the past.
In a sense, we're always looking in the past. Even light reflected from yourself in a mirror takes some time to reflect back.
Let me get this straight. You're trying to tell me that on the other side of this bridge is the actual past?
Yes.
Yeah, but look. We created this thing by pure accident, all right? This space and time, this time window is a complete fluke, all right? And everybody is terrified of screwing with it for fear of losing it or suffering the consequences of God knows what, which is why it can only be used as a retroactive tool.
Hey, let me ask you something. Is she alive or is she dead?
You went to her funeral,
I know
dog.
that, but I think the question still applies. Is she alive or is she dead?
All right, life, like time and space, is not merely a local phenomenon.
All right! Am I asking a hard question?
Looks like I picked a bad week to stop snorting hash.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Smoking and Drinking in Space. This is a sci-fi podcast from a couple guys who think they know sci-fi. And this week, we look at the movie that gives you the feeling like you've seen it before. It stars Denzel Washington, Paula Patton, and Val Kilmer. It's 2006's Deja Vu. But first, he's the guy that stops and stares when boobies come on screen. It's Rob. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing all right. I feel like I've heard that intro once before.
No, that's just Deja Vu.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I did save a package of strawberry fruit snacks. So I'm enjoying those.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, well, I wanted you to feel at home.
Yeah. Well, you got any news that you can spew out of your mouth around the strawberry fruit snack?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, couple things. First off, Marvel. Yes, Marvel. Science. Dropped the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 trailer this past week. Not that it really matters, because by the time this comes out, it'll be old news, but it's new news today. Or if you haven't checked it out, well, you should go check it out. It's been longer than 4 days, so you're going to be a loser. because you didn't go check it out 4 days ago. I'm sorry, 4 days, 6 hours, 33 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I was trying to bring in the movie. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. All right, moving on. You ready for your next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So a new Transformers trailer for what are they calling that? Beast War? Not Beast Wars, but using Beast Wars. Came out this past weekend.
Like Rise of the Beasts or something like that?
Yeah, Rise of the Beasts or something fancy like that. You can tell I've really done a bunch on this today because, yeah.
You're the consummate professional.
I am. So they dropped what is it called? I don't know what it's called. I'm scrolling here past that one, down to this one, up and around there. Rise of the Beasts. Yep. Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So it's got Optimus Primal in it, which for us 90s kids, that's Beast Wars.
Ugh,
Cheetor.
I hated that.
Yeah, all that kind of fun stuff. So that's cool. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So DC dropped a teaser. Not a trailer, just a teaser poster. Blue Beetle in theaters August 18th.
Blue Beetle?
Blue Beetle.
The fuck is that?
That's a superhero.
No, it's not.
It is.
No.
Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle. Yeah.
Blue Beetle?
Blue Beetle. You want me to enlighten you on that?
I'm looking it up.
It's the name of a superhero who appeared in a bunch of comics. He has the abilities to do a bunch of cool things like certain stuff and then other certain stuff.
God. You're an idiot.
Wikipedia Holder of All Knowledge is coming up blank on powers and abilities. But apparently it's like 3 different people have been the Blue Beetle. I don't know which version of the Blue Beetle they're doing, whether it's the Dan Garrett Blue Beetle, the Ted Cord Blue Beetle, or the Jamie Reyes Blue Beetle. But yeah, they're doing one. Yeah.
Did they say why? I mean...
Because DC is a hot mess.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, Blue Beetle? I've never even heard of the fucking Blue Beetle.
Well, I've heard of the Tick.
Yes, I've heard of the Tick.
And he's blue.
But he's not a beetle.
No. But he morphs into a... apparently, it's a scarab from ancient times that morphs into a battle suit.
Oh, okay. Yay.
Yeah.
Sounds fucking dull.
Mm-hmm. Basically, they get beetle powers, apparently, of some sort. Anyway,
Good
all right.
God.
So I'm done with that. I was going to see how many things I could bring up superhero wise, but I do have a couple space things.
No way.
Yep. So the astronomers out there in the world spotted the biggest galaxy ever.
Ever?
And the scale will break your brain.
No, it won't.
Mm-hmm.
No, it won't.
So, this galaxy is 3 billion light years away.
Okay.
This galaxy is called, we're going to call it Alcinous.
You have no idea how to pronounce that, do you?
I do not. It's Alcyoneus. Alcinous. Or Alcinous. Anyway, pretty close. It is a giant radio galaxy. Okay. It's a giant radio galaxy. I'm still trying to wait to blow your brain here. I'm teasing you. It reaches 5 megaparsecs into space. Okay.
It measures 5 megaparsecs.
5 megaparsecs into space. That is 16.3 million light years long.
Okay.
That's it. That's the biggest.
Oh, okay.
Are you not impressed?
I mean, it's big.
That's what she said. But
You've never heard that.
You're right. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it is it's pretty good. They're pretty big. They found it when they were using the what is that called? The low frequency array in Europe. So which is consists of 20,000 radio antennas distributed throughout 52 locations across Europe. And yeah, through some new fancy pipelines and some new fancy detection algorithms, they were able to peek into it, I guess, or peer into the galaxy. Yeah. I don't know how big Milky Way is. I didn't really care.
Okay, well, let's find out, shall we?
I suppose. Don't know. Doesn't say in this. You would think this article might say it just to give you an idea, but apparently not.
So looks like it is 8,500 light years across on the thick side, plus or minus 1,600 light years. Okay,
so significantly bigger.
Oh, no. That's the thickness of the disk. The size is 87,400 light years plus or minus 3,590.
Still significantly bigger.
Yeah.
We're talking 16 million. So, all right. You like whiskey?
I do.
Do you like vodka?
I do.
Okay, good. Star Trek Spirits has released some Romulan ale whiskey and vodka for you.
Okay. What kind of whiskey?
Rye whiskey?
Rye whiskey's okay. It's not my preferred whiskey, but
it's Romulan ale rye whiskey. It is designed from start to finish to be exceptional. Its roots are deep in history and technology. We started with ultra premium rye whiskey. It is a mash of 95% rye, 5% malted barley. It gives it a sweetness and flavor complexity after aging in newly charred white oak barrels.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, they utilized a 150-year-old yeast strain. Man, 150-year-old yeast. All right.
A strain of yeast that's 150 years old.
Phew. After aging for 2+ years just across the Ohio River from Kentucky, it is ready for bottling. So they wanted to throw in that, like, it's not quite Kentucky whiskey, but it's close.
It's close. It's just right across the river.
Just across the river.
It's Ohio whiskey that wants to be Kentucky whiskey. It looks longingly over on the Kentucky side and goes, I wish I was over there.
I wish I was. So they throw this big old tantalizing read about, oh, no, here it is. The ale, the Romulan ale vodka. It's 192 proof to ensure a clean distillation. Yeah, so hold on. The Romulan vodka is produced in the Napa area, distilled 4 times in a stainless steel still to 192 proof to ensure a clean distillation of only the heart of the vodka. Then it is cut down to 80 proof.
Okay, I was about to say they're selling 190. That's almost fucking Everclear.
You're going to go blind. Christ. Yeah, then they cut it down. So it's watered down vodka.
All vodka is watered down.
Yeah. But don't tell anybody that. Put together by a family of 13th generation distillers, there's no trace of off notes or the smell of rubbing alcohol that many vodkas suffer from. So there you go. It's electric blue in appearance.
Okay, so how'd they get the electric blue?
That's a trade secret.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is the whiskey electric blue too?
No, it's more of a bright blue.
Oh God.
It's a deeper blue than the vodka, but it's all blue. Yeah,
all blue. Okay.
It's all
and how much
blue.
do they want for that shit?
Let's see. I didn't see a price right offhand. Oh, here we go. You had to go down past all the ads. It'll be available in early December. The rye whiskey is priced on sale at $85 for each bottle.
Oof.
The vodka is priced at $75.
Fuck.
There will be a 2-pack available that will be priced at $155. You can pre-order your Romulan Ale direct at StarTrekSpirits.com. For an additional 5% off, use the code TrekMovies. 5. I'm sorry, Trek Movie 5. That 5 looked like an S. Trek Movie 5.
Yeah, that's a little more than I'm going to play for some novelty whiskey.
Oh, come on.
No.
Come on. It's got a smooth finish.
Oh, well, I'm sold.
Sign me up. All right.
You ready for a pod crawl?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
We can call it, I don't know, say a pod crawl? The pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Pod crawl! Excellent! Insert it deep! Pod crawl! Kind of like a space suppository full of information.
It's Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and the boys of the Navy are on leave, and all hell is going to break loose soon. But not because a bunch of drunken sailors are about to land in NOLA. No, that's just any Tuesday. No, this fateful Tuesday is going to see a ferry full of sailors, kindergartners, and other normal people go up like a Roman candle. Once the ash and dust settle, enter Doug Carlin, an ATF agent assigned as part of a joint task force to investigate the explosion. After some cursory investigation involving walking a riverbank, hanging off a bridge and visiting a buddy at the sheriff's department, he concludes that it was a domestic terrorist that blew the ferry up. And they make sure to let the audience know several times that he knows what he's talking about since he was on the Oklahoma City case. Iceman is so impressed with his investigative prowess that the movie takes a sharp right turn and he invites Doug to his super-secret observation bunker where he can see 4 days into the past. At first, Ice passes it off as a bunch of satellite surveillance, and they focus in on Claire, a victim connected to the case. But when Doug wants to tease the cat with his laser pointer, all hell breaks loose in the bunker and they admit they found a way to look into the actual past using telescopes and Canadia's Moose-fueled power grid. Further surveillance reveals that Claire got a call from the bomber to buy her Bronco, and they use a little plot magic to track the suspect to a payphone and identify him elsewhere using his shoulder bag. Doug has the bright idea to send a note back to himself through time with the suspect's details, but that ends up getting his partner killed instead and interrupting everyone's evening programming in the process. Now living with the guilt of getting his partner shot, he finds the suspect's compound and a manhunt ensues. They apprehend the bomber in the swamp on his airboat, and Doug interrogates him, getting a confession and pretty much closing the case. But Doug has a secret hard-on for Claire, and he heads back to the portal to the past to send himself back through time to save Claire. Oh, and maybe everyone that blew up on the ferry. But mostly Claire. Anyway, he's told that's a bad idea since hamsters and other small animals haven't been able to make the journey, but Doug says he could take a hamster in a fight, so he should be fine. They beam him back in time into a hospital, which works out since he's dying when he gets there. A couple hours of post-revival recovery later, and Doug steals the very ambulance he saw blown up in the compound a day earlier. He rushes to save Claire, gets shot, the bomber gets away, and they start chasing him to the dock. However, they make a quick detour to Claire's place to patch Doug up and to put all the bloody gauze and prints all over the place that he observed a few days before. Then it's straight to the ferry where Doug finds the bomb, the bomber finds Doug, Claire finds the bomber ties Claire up to the bomb, Doug finds Claire, the bomber finds Doug again, Claire runs the bomber over, Doug shoots the bomber, security and military materialize and find Doug and Claire Thelma and Louise the bomb off the ferry, Claire manages to escape, Doug gets trapped, the bomb blows up underwater. The ferry is taken ashore, everyone on board is shaken but alive, Claire is sad and wet, Doug from the past rolls up on scene and takes Claire in for questioning, and roll Doug getting that feeling he's done this before but he never has since this is a newly changed timeline. Credits.
All right, 2006's Deja Vu, starring Denzel Washington and other Denzel Washington, because he went back in the past and there were two Denzel Washingtons at the same time. So,
Yep.
what'd you think?
It was.
It ended up being a time travel movie, so I figure.
I know. So at first, I was a little. I'm going. All right, so this sci-fi is basically they have some super tech space satellites. All right, not my cup of sci-fi, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Wait, what? Time travel? Then the pants had to come off.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if they came off because of the time travel or because of the boob.
Well, the time travel and the boobs kind of happen close to the same time.
They do. That's why I'm a little confused as to why the pants came off.
Yeah, it may have been a little column A, a little column B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
So I liked it. I did think it was a pretty good movie. I didn't think it was a great sci-fi movie.
No, it's very loose. I think what was that other one? The one with Jake Gyllenhaal. I think that one did better with the whole solving a crime via time travel shenanigans.
Yeah. But I mean, that wasn't really even time travel, right? That was just that was just combing through his memories.
Right.
And he basically relived his memories over and over again.
Well, no, those weren't. Were those his memories? No, those weren't his memories. They were somebody else's memories.
Oh, that's right. They had stored others' memories and forced them into his head.
Yes.
Is that how that worked?
Something like that. Yeah, because he was like just a torso.
Right.
Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, I thought that one did a little bit better job in terms of a sci-fi whodunit sort of thing. Now, this wasn't. It was weak on the sci-fi, but it wasn't bad. It was interesting.
No, so the story was interesting, and this is a Tony Scott directed film. And if you're not familiar with Tony Scott, he's
familiarize us.
He's a very prolific action film director, right? So, some of the films that he's directed: Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2,
all right,
Days of Thunder, The Last Boy Scout, which is one of my favorite action movies ever, Crimson Tide, Enemy of the State, this one, Unstoppable. So he's got a long list of successful action titles to his name.
Yeah, action suspense.
Yeah, action suspense.
Yeah.
And he's also the younger brother of Ridley Scott, and Ridley Scott is the sci-fi guy, right? The sci-fi and kind of horror guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I don't think that Tony Scott was probably the best director for this film.
Probably not. Because it was more action oriented than sci-fi oriented.
Yeah.
But the sci-fi was all about in there, I mean, that's basically what the movie's about, is the sci-fi. Or solving the case via the sci-fi.
Right. And we didn't see a lot of the sci-fi in the movie.
And I don't, this isn't on the director, but more so the writers. There was a couple holes in their little sci-fi.
The writers would say that it was the director that introduced those holes.
You think so?
Yes. In fact, the writers have stated that, they are not happy with the direction that Tony Scott went with the movie.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't look anything up on that.
Yeah, in fact, one of the writers, so it was a team of two writers.
Mm-hmm.
One of the writers has never seen the movie because he is so disgusted with how Tony Scott handled it.
Wait a minute. How has he never seen the movie yet knows that it is totally...
Well, because they were on set doing rewrites and shit.
Okay.
They were still involved in the production.
Okay.
And these aren't, unknown writers either. So Bill Marsili is one.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is Terry Rossio. So Terry Rossio wrote things like Aladdin, Men in Black. Let's see, Shrek, National Treasure. This one, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, National Treasure, Book of Secrets.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's got some writing chops underneath him too.
Right. Okay. So, and I didn't look up any of this stuff beforehand, so I didn't know that the writers had a issue.
Yeah, so they wrote this over several years, collaborating on it, and apparently the script treatment that they had, I mean, was supposed to be pretty tight. But you're right, there are a few holes, and I want to later in the show try to go over the timeline of events because I've gone through it over in my head a few times, and I think... Are
you confused?
No, I'm not confused, but I think
you need a time traveling expert, don't you?
Yes, I do need a time traveling expert to confirm that they've broken causality in this film.
Okay, all right. So that's why I'm here. That's
why you're here. You're the expert.
I am the time travel expert. Yeah, you don't know any different. So one of the holes, one of the major holes that I saw, not major, but one of the holes that I saw, they've got the screen up on, they've got the feed up on the screen, and they can move around and do whatever they think, and this is before Doug realizes that it's space magic. He thinks it's just he just thinks it's satellite magic. He shines the laser pointer. What throws me off, what's wrong with that is how would the laser pointer interact with basically the monitor screen,
right?
When the thing that is peering into the past is behind the nuclear radioactive vault bunker thing.
Yeah, I don't know that was neither nuclear or radioactive. I'm not exactly sure.
I don't know,
what
but
was.
It's a bunker. It was a
bunker
vault
with what looked like some sort of humongous electromagnet in it, but
right. Regardless, that is where the magic was happening, and we're just seeing the feed on a big screen on a big screen.
Yeah.
So
I had that question myself. So how does he point a laser pointer at a monitor, and somehow the monitor takes that as input and then shoots that back to the past?
And freaks out and all that other stuff, because it totally interrupted everything.
Yeah. That was one of the dumber moments in the movie.
Yep. So that one was a big one. I liked the feeling that she was being watched.
Yeah, that was an interesting twist.
I liked that, and it was all fine and dandy till they teleported through the wall. And I guess it shifted something, or so I don't know.
Yeah, it shifted time because they were watching her take a shower,
and then all of a sudden,
they moved through the medicine cabinet into kind of the foyer of the house, and she's there in a towel, wondering who's in her house, like there was somebody watching her. So they just moved a little bit. It took less than a second to move from point A to point B, and suddenly it's minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a little weird too. Supposedly you can't jump around. Everything happens in real time. It's just 4 days and 6 hours and some odd minutes ahead.
Right.
Or behind.
Behind. That's important. It's 4 days, 6 hours, 3 minutes, 45 seconds, and 14.5 nanoseconds.
Oh, you looked it up.
Wikipedia did for me.
Right.
Yes. And they called it Snow White, which I don't understand why they called it Snow
Oh, you don't?
White. There's no seven dwarfs.
Well, so originally they were calling it Snow White because they said there were 7 satellites, right?
Oh, that's
Those
right.
were the
that's
dwarves.
right.
But if you also look at Snow White as, you know, the queen had the magic mirror.
Yeah,
mirror on the wall. She was able to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, all right. I'm with you.
Yeah. See?
I'm
Yeah, so
following.
the writing was smart in this, and I do
It was.
think that Tony Scott probably did change some stuff to facilitate more action, more suspense, because that's what he's known for. That's what he knows. That's why you hire Tony Scott. And I think that I believe the writers when they say that he introduced a lot of the plot holes that people found in the movie.
Yeah, I could see. I'd like to know what were those plot holes? What did they write differently than what got shown on the screen?
Yeah, I don't have those answers. They didn't. What I read didn't go into that much detail, and I didn't.
Yeah, they're
much.
like, oh, you didn't like the movie? Well, it's because they changed it. Yeah.
I'm sure
Ours
they
was
have
awesome.
the original screenplay that they wrote, so we could probably find that or references to it someplace.
Yeah,
there's been several interviews with them, and they're not too keen on what happened with their script. In fact, so there was apparently some trouble on set too, according to Wikipedia holder of all the knowledge.
Oh yeah.
So Bruckheimer is the one who produced this film. He's the one who got Denzel on to star.
Okay.
And he brought on Tony Scott. Rossio, which is, I believe, the writer who's never actually seen the film and really doesn't like what Scott did to it. He said that Scott was completely the wrong choice. He said that Tony had stated he had no interest in making a science fiction film and suggested that the time travel aspect actually be dumped. Rossio's hope was that the screenplay could be the next Sixth Sense, and Tony just wanted to make another also-ran surveillance film. Rossio also says at one point that Scott quit the project and that he and Marsili, which was the other writer, had to work on the script so that Denzel wouldn't quit. And they reworked the script over 2 weeks, and that the revision was deemed so good that not only did Denzel recommit, he called Tony and talked him into coming back on board. And then reportedly, Denzel made Tony look him in the eye and swear he wouldn't quit the movie again. Tony said yes, but on one condition: he wanted to bring in his own writers.
That's weird.
Yeah. So this seems kind of like a movie that went through some production pains.
Yeah, it does.
So it's not the greatest movie.
No. It reminded me a lot of it almost reminded me of a little bit like Training Day, just in terms of Denzel going around trying to solve a crime type of deal. I know Training Day was not like that, but I got that feeling at the very beginning. You got Denzel being a cop, doing his own thing, beat of his own drum.
Well, I mean, he's been that in several movies.
Right. It's a typical Denzel movie. It's what it is.
I mean, but Denzel is Denzel in most of the movies that he plays, so
it's true. Yeah,
he's got a bit of Jack Nicholson disease,
just a bit. Not a lot.
I mean, it's not a ton, but he does have a little bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't feel like I wasted my time on it. Would I watch it again? No, absolutely not, because, it's not like one of those ones that like, oh man, that was so good. But I don't feel like I wasted my time.
So it's not on the regular time travel porn rotation?
No, there's some better ones out there that that I don't mind watching once or twice. Yeah. This one, it was very, there wasn't enough time travel in it. I mean, they mention it and they think of it's a possibility, but there actually isn't any time travel till the very end.
Yeah, it wasn't until the very end, and then it was just really brief.
Yeah, and why did you have to face forward?
I don't know.
You don't want to go into time travel ass first? I
guess not. Maybe because he'd be facing face down wherever he came up.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That was really weird.
It was.
So, a couple of other problems that I had with this. Some of the computer magic that they used wasn't consistent. So they used some facial recognition technology to identify a bag.
Right.
Which way back in 2006, I'm not even sure that would have even been possible.
No, I don't
much
think so.
less plausible with the models and the technology that we had at the time, just the way facial recognition worked back then. Maybe today, but even today, I think that's kind of pushing it. But yeah, so and they found it really quickly. It was like in a matter of just minutes. They scanned their put the bag in for identification, and then scanned a whole bunch of different camera footage on some different cameras in the area, and then they found that exact same bag.
It's a bag. There's not very many variations there. That's quick.
But they found the exact same bag.
Yeah, faces are hard.
But whenever they were trying to find the face of the suspect to identify him, that seemed to take a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually what the facial recognition program was actually designed to do. So they did an off case scenario that took just a matter of minutes, and the actual on case scenario took much, much longer. So that was one of the inconsistencies that I wasn't real fond of.
Yeah.
You got anything?
No. I mean, I agree that the facial recognition the speed was convenient.
Yeah, it was a plot device.
It was plot convenience. Yeah. So, we can't find the dude really quickly, because then, there's no suspense on whether or not we'll capture him.
Right.
Type of deal. And then they do capture him, and it's, I did it. And this is why. I'm just going to tell you everything. I'm not going to be secretive about it or anything. You caught me. Congratulations. If I was this crazy kook, I would have had a manifesto of some sort. But no, I'm going to do this secretively, but then confess when you find me.
You keep trying to push your manifesto on the world, and nobody cares.
Well, one day you will. Mark my words. One day you will care.
The car chase scene. I thought that was a novel concept.
That was interesting.
Thought that was just poorly executed.
Very
I was
much
so bored through that car chase scene. I was like, God, is this ever going to end?
Yeah, because it was like, it is a car chase, but not a car chase. And why did it have to be the Hummer?
Well, the Hummer had the equipment he needed.
Yeah, but apparently it's mobile.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, there is that.
It's backpackable.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And then and then 2006.
Mm-hmm.
This really wasn't, hands-free really wasn't a big thing.
Hands-free was around back then.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a huge thing. And more importantly, the cell phone that he has in the movie, I don't see that being hands-free.
Oh, I had Bluetooth on my flip phones back then, and I had a hands-free headset.
Okay, he didn't. He had nothing. He didn't put anything on his head. No.
Well, no. The cell phone itself had a speaker that you could do, and you could hold down a button and give voice commands, very basic voice commands, and it didn't work very well, but it did work.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the fact that he's like, turn it up so I can hear what's going on, and all this other stuff. And it's like, but yeah, where's that cell phone? And then why were you driving with the cell phone to your ear at first, and then decided you could put it down? Yeah. It was inconsistent on what is available technology, because he was talking through the little speaker on the helmet at one point.
Yeah, that's true.
Which means he left the cell phone back in the car, obviously, because he had, it was all over the place.
Yeah, you're right. The way they used that technology was a little inconsistent.
Right. And whose arm was it that the alligator was eating?
I guess that was his partner's arm.
But I thought his maybe? So did his... So you think he burned the body and then dumped it in there for the gators to eat? And then dumped
the remains for the gators to eat, yeah.
Okay. Because the way they made it sound like at the beginning was that he was found on the ferry, but maybe it was just that the car was there.
Yeah, his car was there. So whenever he saw his car and came in and said, "Where's what's his face?"
Right. So his car was there, so they just assumed he was on the ferry.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So far I'm okay. You needing some timeline?
Yeah, so let's discuss timeline. Okay.
All right.
So when we start, we know that Doug comes on scene. Now, the first time that we see Doug come on scene, he does not talk to Claire. He starts investigating the explosion, right?
Correct.
He finds the blast cap. He finds the explosion remnants on the bottom of the bridge. He gives his results, or he talks to the sheriff who discusses a body that was found, and then he goes and views the body.
Right.
And
which
then
is Claire.
Which is Claire.
Mm-hmm.
So Claire is dead in this initial investigation.
Importantly, dead before the explosion.
With her fingers cut off because she had clawed, which we found out later, she had scratched the suspect's face.
Right.
So that means that the events played out with him kidnapping Claire, taking her car, killing her, and making it look like she had died wanting to make it look like she had died on the ferry.
Correct.
He investigates, gives his results. They're impressed by his results. He is brought in to Project Snow White. He sends the investigation with Project Snow White to start looking at Claire.
Yes, because he feels that there is some sort of, well, for two reasons. One, he feels that there's something to it because she was a burn victim found in the area, but found before it had even happened.
Yeah, she thinks.
And two,
and he had also investigated her house and saw that she was trying to sell a Bronco, which fits the type of vehicle that they suspected was used.
Right. Well, and then the second important thing is he's steering her that way because he wants some booty.
Well, yeah. He kind of got smitten over her dead body at the morgue, which is just a little fucking creepy. But importantly, when he investigated her house, all of the bloodstains and bloody gauze were already there.
Correct.
And the note on the refrigerator was already there.
Correct.
Which indicates that he had already been there and done that, which indicates that which indicates that portion of time. So he had saved Claire, gotten shot, patched himself up at Claire's house, gave the message, and then everything played out on the dock, which would have prevented the large explosion and his investigation. So that's a paradox.
So, you know, they talked
because
about...
not only that, sorry, don't mean to interrupt, because not only that, he caused his partner's death too.
Yes.
Because when he saw his partner's car there, that was because his partner had gone there like the day before and actually confronted the suspect, and the suspect had killed him.
Right.
And the reason that his partner did that is because he had later, like 3 days or 4 days ahead of time, sent back a note giving details on where to find the suspect. He was trying to give that note to himself. His partner ended up intercepting it and going on his own, and that's what got his partner killed. So
I am thinking, because they mentioned this, we're talking about the we're talking about the sacred timeline and branching and all that kind of MCU crap. They talk about the fact that it branches and the other one just ceases to exist. I'm thinking up until the so somewhere along the lines, I think his partner dying, that happened. That was going to happen regardless. Because he even makes mention of the fact that all of this is happening anyway.
Well, he said all of this, so that's what confuses me too. Is because when he was in the house, actually getting patched up. And saw that they were throwing all the bloody gauze away. That triggered the memory that, oh, hey, yeah, I remember seeing this.
Yeah.
Deja vu, but it actually happened in reverse.
Right.
He was like, okay, I haven't changed anything, because he had already seen that happen. But if that had already happened, then he would have changed something, because Claire's fingers were she was still alive at this point. And this was past the time where she would have already died.
Small. So that was a small ripple, right? So that was a small ripple that didn't matter, and time was going to go on without a divergent. Maybe there had to have been a key moment somewhere on the ferry, because everything was going to happen like it was going to happen up until the bomber saw his vehicle.
Well, but the bomber initially, because we see the actual explosion and the events happen leading up to the explosion at the beginning of the movie. The bomber wasn't on there. He was on the bridge. He was watching.
That's what I'm saying. Everything was happening like it was, air quotes, supposed to, up until he saw, he was getting on the motorcycle, and then he saw that his vehicle was there, and he's like, oh shit, the dude's there trying to stop what's happening. I think that was the key moment that switched it. Now,
but it would have had to have switched before that, because Claire was there.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like an Ouroboros.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the partner dying was always, that happened. That happened regardless.
But how? Because
that cause and effect is okay.
No, it's not.
How is it not?
Because if Doug didn't investigate, if Doug wasn't brought into Project Snow White, he couldn't have sent the note back that gave his partner the heads up of where to go.
Here it is. Divergent timelines. It just came on to me. Okay, so we've got Doug A and Doug B. Doug A is going to be first in the movie Doug. Doug B is new Doug, or Yeah. And, the other Doug.
Okay.
Okay. So Doug A, the events happen in Doug A's timeline. So Doug A's timeline, the events happen.
Okay.
He throws that note into the past to try to do the thing, and so his partner dies.
But where's his partner before he sends the note back? Everything happens up until a point, right?
Right.
So until he sends the note back, his partner is basically Schrodinger's partner. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Last thing we know is that he was supposed to go on vacation.
But at this point in time, at this juncture in the thing, nothing major has happened that derails the bomber, right? So the partner shows up, he kills him, dumps his body in the thing, and he gets eaten.
Okay, so you're saying the partner dying is a ripple. It's not a big enough event to change future events. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. Doug's partner dying is a ripple, and it's part of that. We're still on that main timeline
where the ferry blows up and kills everybody.
The ferry blows up,
and Claire dies before. And okay. I'm with you.
I think when Doug jumps in the car and starts chasing the guy down, I think at that point, that is where things start to unravel to an extent, because we're seeing, there's the blown up, ambulance and all that kind of stuff. That's when we start to see that it's starting, the timeline is starting to diverge, right? We haven't seen why yet, but it's starting to diverge there. We're seeing bits and pieces, the stuff, the place blew up and all that kind of good stuff, but the thing has already happened, or, cause this is in the present of the current timeline.
Okay, but what causes the ambulance to be there? What causes all of that gauze to be there?
Doug going back in time.
But he doesn't go back in time if she doesn't die. He doesn't go back in time if she doesn't die.
Well, he doesn't go back in time if she doesn't die. Well, yeah, at that point in time, now we've jumped down to the other timeline. So when he goes back in time, that's...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is okay. So we got Doug A, and let's say that this is a fresh start. This is the first time this has ever happened. We've got Doug A. He goes to investigate, finds out his partner's dead, finds Claire dead. She's got the missing fingers. She was killed before the bomb went off.
Mm-hmm.
He gets introduced to Project Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
He sends the note back. That kills his partner, right?
Right.
Okay. So his partner's dead. That's not enough to really change anything.
Right. The partner was dead to begin with.
But he already knows that there were bloody gauze and everything in her apartment even before he sent the note back. So that's where I'm caught up, is there's bloody gauze. But if this is the first time this happens, there wouldn't be any bloody gauze or anything in her apartment. There wouldn't be a note. Now, he would be able to find the Bronco listing. That would have still been on her refrigerator.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't be a note to himself. So maybe this has happened more and over again.
And
maybe he went back multiple times. And
we're just seeing one attempt.
Or maybe we're seeing the progression of attempts.
Possibly.
So we're on a fresh start. He goes to investigate her house. There's no bloody gauze. None of his fingerprints are there. It's fresh and clean. He does see the Bronco advertisement. Mm-hmm. So he suspects that she was going to sell this guy the Bronco. He reports back his findings. He's brought into Project Snow White. He wants to try and capture this guy. And so he sends a note back to himself that backfires. He gets his partner killed. So his partner gets killed in the first iteration, in the first run. Okay. So his partner gets killed basically regardless. He's fucking his partner over regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he goes through, sends himself back, crashes the ambulance, saves Claire, though. But he saves Claire at that point, and I don't see how that fits in.
Well,
or maybe he
would have at one point. Maybe there's one where he. Okay, so this is my guess is, at some point, originally he didn't save Claire. But at some point maybe he gets there, but he gets there just a tad bit too late. He's already like chopped her up and burned her or whatever. And when he crashes in, I don't know, maybe this is like a multi-branch type of deal because, they said you can only go back the 4 days or whatever, and it's constantly shifting. Right. So as he's going further and further back, or as time's moving forward, he can't affect things that have happened already. So maybe. Well,
no, but he keeps going back.
Right.
So
you think he keeps going back? Yeah.
If you accept that he can go back once, he can keep going back. I mean, he can keep looping as many times as he's.
That original dude Doug A could continue to loop.
No. Well,
yeah, I think it would have to be Doug A, because once Doug A goes back, he's the only one that knows that it actually works. But the first time he goes back, he doesn't go back far enough, right? So he's going back at what we see in the movie. He goes back and he's only got that much time.
But we don't see any evidence of multiple Dougs at that point. So
we never do.
If we have Doug A and he's the first Doug that goes back, something had to have happened to Doug A at that point.
No, because it really wouldn't. If we assume that everything...
Well, because we have two Dougs from the time that he goes back.
Yeah, but first Doug was out and about doing his own thing, or end of the movie Doug was out and about doing his own thing until he got called in for this bombing. What I'm thinking, we've got Doug A. He jumps back the first time, right? And tries to, let's assume that everything plays out similar to what we saw in the movie, but at some point in time, the first time he tries it, he can't save the girl. The girl still, he doesn't get there in time, or he doesn't know where they're at or anything like that. So it's earlier in the investigation. We're saying maybe bombing plus 1 day. Right. So bombing plus 1 day. So bombing plus 1 day happens, and he goes, man, see, that still doesn't make sense, because why would he wait so long? I don't know, man.
Yeah. And besides, if you could go back, why wouldn't you just call the authorities and tell them that there's going to be a bomb?
Right. Right. So why didn't he memorize Science Dude's number or something,
right,
and say, hey, give me a code word that I can tell you that would let you know that I can travel in time?
Yeah, that you know me from the future. Yeah.
Right.
There's several ways that he could have done that.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand not being able to tell others, going, hey, I'm from the other
he could have even called his boss as himself and said, hey, I've gotten a tip that there's going to be a bomb at, on the ferry at such and such time.
Get everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because he said something along the lines of like, if he doesn't do it, then we won't ever capture him. But even then, I mean, as soon as you get back, you call him and go, hey, I need you to go here.
Yeah, but they would have locked down that place, and they probably would have caught him.
Well, his biggest concern was trying to get his piece of ass.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest distraction right there.
As soon as
they
he
took
woke
a
up,
fucking detour to her house for how long? They seemed like they were just in no rush to go save people.
Yeah, I mean but as soon as he got up, that's the first place he went. He went to go try to save her.
Yeah.
As opposed to worrying about, he didn't care about the bomb. The bomb was the bomb. All he cared about was getting that piece of ass, saving that piece of ass, and then he was fine with it until it turned into, oh, okay, I need to be the good guy.
Yeah.
And save everybody else.
There's some causality issues.
And
with
maybe that's where it is. I don't know. There's some branching and looping and not branching, and which came first, chicken or the egg? The dinosaur.
All right, final thoughts.
Watch it. It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's a fine movie.
Yeah. You won't be disappointed. Just don't look at it too closely.
Don't look at it as a sci-fi movie. Look at it as an action movie with some sci-fi elements.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, you got haiku for us this week.
I do. This one is titled "Say That Again." Time travel mind trip. Paradox closed with your death. Time travel mind trip.
All right. Awards.
Yes, I have some.
Who's got your black lung?
This is titled "Say That Again." Time travel mind trip. Paradox closed with your death. Time travel mind trip.
No. See, I think you had a stroke. I asked if you had awards.
Yes, I have some of those.
Yeah. Who's got your black lung?
I'm giving it to Caviezel, the bomber, in The Slammer.
Okay. Yeah.
Asking for a cigarette.
Yeah, he's the only one that I really saw smoking, so he'll get mine too.
Right. Which I think at this point in time, even in 2006.
2006, yeah.
Yeah, they weren't allowing smoking indoors.
In prison, they probably were.
During an interrogation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right.
During interrogations, I think you're trying to make the person you're interrogating as comfortable as possible.
That's true.
Get on their good side so that they'll open up to you. So, yeah.
All right.
Head Lush.
I'm giving mine to, I'm just going to give it to Claire's patrons at the bar.
I was going to give it to Claire herself. She looked like she had been drinking, so.
Okay. It looked like she was a bartender.
No, she was at a get together.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's going to Claire then. Yeah. I was thinking she was the bartender at that, the one when she got the phone call.
Oh yeah. No. She was at a party at a gathering. Yeah.
All right.
Player.
Oh, I'm giving it to Doug.
You're giving it to Doug.
Yeah. He snuck a kiss in right at the very end. She came swooping in.
All right.
And she didn't mind.
Yeah, she didn't. I'm going to give mine to Claire because she basically got her hooks into Doug even while she was dead.
Yeah.
That's some pretty hardcore playing right there.
Yeah. It's all because they held hands.
Right. Purple Hippo.
I'm giving it to Claire for being spied on. She had that feeling that she was being watched. And so I think one thing that they didn't directly say, but it sounded like she knew, was that the guy was a time traveler of sorts.
Yeah, they didn't really go into that because it seemed like when Caviezel's character was getting pursued through time, he kind of figured it out. And when he was talking to Doug on the ferry, he was like, no, it's not supposed to play out like this. Like he had some sort of
No, I think that was just
premonition.
that it was supposed to go the original way, and you ruined it. This isn't how it was supposed to play out.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, that's what I chalked that up to. I think in the car ride from Claire's house to the ferry, he let her in on what was going on.
Gotcha.
And then he turned around or she turned around and let him in on what was going on at the end of the movie, because it kind of used the same phrase that he used.
Right.
So that's what I think.
Okay.
But yeah, I think when she was being spied on, she had that feeling that she was being watched, and then to find out that she was being watched, and she's like, "Oh shit!"
Right.
Saw my boobies.
Saw me in the shower.
Yeah.
So my purple hippo is going to go to Doug for getting transported back in time.
No. Yeah. That's a good one.
That'd be fucking trippy.
That would be weird. Yeah.
All right. It's time.
For what?
Pick our next show.
Okay.
All right. You need to pick a number between 1 and 151.
All right. So they were able to look into the past 4 days, 6 hours, 3 minutes, 45 seconds, and 14.5 nanoseconds. You add all that up, that comes out to 72.5. So my number is going to be 72.5.
Needs to be an integer.
Ah, damn it. Well, fine. 72.
72. Tell me when to stop.
Unless it's shit, and then I want 73. Stop.
Okay. All right. So next episode, we will be talking about the movie when the U.S. president crashes into Manhattan, now a giant maximum security prison. A convicted bank robber is sent in to rescue him.
This would be Escape from L.A.
Yeah, Manhattan is in L.A. Good job. Now, this stars Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef, Ernest Borgnine, and it was directed by John Carpenter. It is 1981's Escape from New York, you dork.
Oh, shit.
Manhattan is in New York.
Oh, okay. I get those confused sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
Escape from New York, huh?
Yeah. Which is kind of funny because we were talking about
them rebooting one?
Rebooting, yeah, or doing a sequel or something.
Threequel?
Yeah.
Third one? I don't know.
So we'll get introduced to Snake Plissken on the next episode.
Sounds...
This is actually a fun movie. So.
It is. I like it.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for this week. Our intro and outro music is Welcome Home by Cambo. Podcrawl music is Snack Mix by Machette. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. You can leave us feedback on our Discord channel at smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Discord, on Twitter at @Situs_podcast, or you can email us at smokinganddrinkinginspace@outlook.com. If you'd like to throw a few nickels our way, you can become a Patreon supporter by going to smokinganddrinkinginspace.com/Patreon, and make sure to visit Gonna Geek for more great shows at GonnaGeek.com. For this week, I'm Jason.
Time travel mind trip. Paradox closed with your death. Time travel mind trip.
Oh, we'll see you next episode.